Hey and welcome folks. It is Live with Markrolton. I trust that you're having a progressive week to date. Today we're going to get this introduction perfect. In fact, I'm going to say that we're going to nail it. But a couple of things firstly before we kick off today's piece. Hey, welcome. It's great to share some time with you. I appreciate the very kind words and the appraise coming back from you guys. I really do appreciate that. Those words mean a lot. They certainly encourage me, fill my sails, but also with the team, it inspires them also as well. In a few minutes, we're going to be going live. If you want to now plug in anyone else that you think may need this content. I'm seeing a lot of pain today. I see a lot of confusion. I feel that people have been gamed. I think the system is starting to show them that borrowing money ain't so cool and driving new Hilux is not that important. When interest rates start to spiral up and the pain starts to bite. And they look at their monthly expenses and realise, shit, we've only got $3,500 or $3,800 in the bank. There's too much month and not enough cash. I'm definitely starting to make sense of people's position, and they're starting to choke. While we're waiting, there might be someone else that may need this training. By all means, please feel free to hook them in. I'll be conducting a Q&A through the training today. For goodness sakes, keep pumping your questions through. I think the questions have been terrific. It's certainly highlighted to me that there's some really valuable, content, and also to come to think of it, you guys are starting to receive this in a way that is made known. Hey, listen, what about this? This doesn't make any sense to me. By all means, feel free to reach out. Share this video with anyone that you know that may need the training. And the mission. Well, the mission's pretty clear. You know, this is now sort of a full revolution, if you will, of Massland Navicet. And I take great delight in seeing our clients really get the conversation of money. You know, it's sort of like they've been walking in the dark, and this may be you for many, many years, but the light bulb goes on and things start to connect. The dots match up, and you start to feel like, hey, listen, I'm getting this. I know what's going on. It's kind of that old analogy of the car, that metaphor of you don't know how to use a clutch, a handbrake, you can't do hill starts, but all of a sudden, you know, give it 6, 4, 5 months, 8 months, you're doing hill starts with a burger in your hand, holding a telephone and conducting a conversation with your kids. So, you know, stick around. This is going to be valuable for you. And as we sort of get more progressed over time, I think that these will have, certainly an endeared sense of, a direction. It'll start to now lay the foundations of what you can do and feel comfortable in. So today we're going to talk a lot about tenacity. You know, last session, I invited you in to how I think and operate. You know, literally on the verge now of purchasing another vessel. And it gave you, I think, some short insight as to how those things have come about for me. I was on the telephone again this morning to the broker. The vendor is in Hong Kong at the current time, and we're just discussing terms and how that's going to look. And I think as you get a bit more commercial over time, you'll start to realise you can purchase these things and do it in a very clever fashion. You know, I want the vendor to give me a bit more time, as we do in property. It's funny how those two subjects cross over. But I just gave you some insight. I helped you dig into the reasons why you're here and why this matters for you. You know, talk about freedom. You know, we talk about buying vessels, getting overseas, having, great sort of holidays, great sort of times away. He's saying here that the reception keeps cutting in and out. We've got a comment here. Yeah?
Because we're on the Wi-Fi, it's going to be a little...
Okay. So we'll do our best to get this to you. So, look, it's a matter of now you starting to take control and asking yourself, why are you here? Why is this important to you? And I think it's important that you understand the journey ahead. And I'd actually ask you to start punching down some questions. Mark, why would I do this? Why does it cost so much money to buy that? Do you finance anything? You pay stuff in cash. Why is that important? Keep those questions flowing. It's very, very important that you kind of get a grasp today of what you're in the game for. You know, it's going to be very, very hard for you to arrive at a place in the future if we don't know where we're going. The more sort of technology, the more systems or the more strategies we start to layer in, it's going to be important for you to know that's the destination. Because here's my concern for you, and here's my hallucination. is that money is going to throw up some real challenges over time. You're going to start to realise, hey, this is not always fun. Mark, there's some things that I don't know. I've had some issues with the bank. The bank rejected me. I've got 3 investment properties. Things aren't going so well. I've got a business and I quite frankly don't want to be there. I don't think I have the heart to continue this on and make a go of it. You're going to have to ask yourself, why is it that you're here? And when you plug into the very rationale, the very thing that gets you out of bed, you're going to realise that those challenges, those issues, those problems become very, very small indeed. So as you become more familiar with what you want, I want you to ask yourself, why are you here? Why is it important for you? Why is money a topic you're going to master? Any questions you got about that?
No, this stage, Mark.
Okay, all right. And I really want you to speak into that because, get a pen and start to articulate this. Why am I doing this? Why am I taking on extra effort? Why would I go out there and put my mind to something, Mark, when I really don't know what I want? My suggestion is make it very, very clear. I'm a visual person. I'd get something like a bit of paper, an A3, and say why. I'd say, well, listen, I want to spend more time. I want to have fun. I genuinely want to spend more time abroad. More time abroad. I want to go back and see my family in England, Mark. I want to go hang out in Canada. Mate, my kids love skiing. We've done it once. I'm a tradie. I can't get away. I work 6 days a week. What is it? Why is it that you're here? Why does this matter? Why is this so important to you now? You might be like, Mark, fuck it, I just haven't got a deposit. I've been working in this job. I'm 27 and I'm barely making ends meet. I am not shoveling off 20, 45, 60 grand a year. It's just impossible for now. You might turn around and say, listen, mate, you know what? I want to buy a farm. I'm done with all the COVID bullshit. I just want to go out and have some freedom. I want to raise my children in an environment where there are no limitations. I want to homeschool my kids. Quite frankly, Mark, I'm 44, mother of 2. It feels like it's been a flash in the pan. I want to have more time. I want to spend more quality moments with my kids. School's it's so involved, 9 to 3. It can all be done between sort of 9 and maybe 1. I get the whole afternoon off and I have a say in how my children are raised and not the curriculum set by a school or a government. Whatever that might be. But just understand that why is going to be the driver. If this is opaque to you, I'm going to suggest you need to spend the next couple of months building this out so it's crystal clear and have no hesitation nor fear. You might turn around and say, Mark, I just want to be wealthy. I want to have 12, 14 investment properties because I know they'll spin off about 186 grand a year in cash. And that, quite frankly, is more than we earn. But as a passive income, I'm out of the system. I've bought the rest of my life back. These are the key attributes of what makes you really someone that's focused, driven, disciplined. You're unbreakable. And it doesn't matter whether the market's going great, down, up, sideways. It's irrelevant. You will make opportunity because you know why you are in the game. Any thoughts you got around that?
Yeah, the whole aspect, the whole question of why, you need to reach a point where you actually ask yourself that every day.
So, well, you can, sure.
Yeah.
You'd be clearer about why you're doing it.
And look, what I find and what I think a lot of people relate to is that when we're with you, Mark, and we're in this situation and we're mapping it out like this, we're really inspired as to why. And then tomorrow,
yes,
we're caught up in life.
That's a great point. It's a really good point you raised there. Early days I was the same. This was sporadic. It really was. It'd be sort of every 6, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, I'd go and do something. Or I'd drive past the Porsche dealership. For some reason, I used to love Porsches when I was a kid. When I say early 20s, mid-20s. And it'd be sort of sporadic once in a while. But then I sort of got better at it. I started to achieve goals. My bank accounts did start to change. I started to earn money. And it wasn't unusual to have 80 grand in a bank. Well, that was a lot of money. 15 and a half, 16 and a half years ago. 80 grand cash was a decent sum. But yes, and I feel that over time I became better at that. I realised actually this is one of the key indicators of me getting ahead. It's sort of one of those indicators of making progress. So I'm going to do more of that shit, I'd go to the ski shop, try on boots. I'd go look at open homes. That's a big one. People kind of go, a home just seems to be so lavish. with the prices the way they are. Well, just don't forget that the income gap has always been pretty fucking big in this country. You know, the house that I live in now, I paid nearly $10 million for it in February 2012. That was insane. A home down the street, the neighbour's house was 1114. I paid nearly 10 off the back of the GFC, and people are like, you're fucking crazy. But I would go to the open homes and look around and go, that's where I want to be. Like, I'd love to be somewhere right near there, but in the bush. So you've got the trees and you've got the, you know, you've got a bit of a cooler sort of setting. That was not unusual. But people don't do that. They don't feel the confidence. They don't feel it's upon them. And if we can now, and the reason I've taken today, and I really want to bed this down for you, is you must fucking crystallise why you're doing this. Because there will be tons of setbacks. There'll be shit that doesn't work. You know, you'll have a lawyer that rip you off or something will go wrong. You'll be doing a small development and the builder will walk off site and go, nah, I'm done. I'm finished. Thanks anyway. And unless you know why you're in the game, they're going to feel like those setbacks will feel insurmountable. Oh my God, the world's crumbling. It's all come to an end. But I genuinely believe, the bigger that you build out this dream, this aspiration, the bigger this becomes, the smaller the problems are in front of it.
And it seems like, when you were saying that before, it seems like when we start to see results, is when we start to say, oh, this science works.
Yeah.
You know, I've put out why I want to do this.
Yep.
I've got a result. And then that gives you the security that you know that this is going to work for you.
It feeds into itself.
Before you see any result, it's just this kind of dream.
Yeah. Yep. And it needs to be. That's what exactly what we're talking about here, is you're trying to root this dream, try to bring it down, ground this dream and go, define it. What is that? I need to get good at the science of achieving. What is that? It's not enough to go, oh yeah, one day, Mark, I don't fucking know, I'll get around to it. Just show me the money. And that is, honestly, you may as well just switch off now, turn the fucking thing off and go back to work. If you think it's just about money, well, have a look over your shoulder and have a look at all the moguls and the titans, and they talk about this non-stop. It's like, oh, I had this dream, I had this crazy-ass dream that I might get into oil one day. And they start fucking drilling for oil. And now they're multi-billionaire. I had a dream to own a business. I had a dream to employ people and help them. And those dreams eventually do come true. But we're just been, hope has been beaten out of us as adults. That's all. As a kid, it's like, oh, I want to be a pilot. I want to be a famous singer. I want to be a famous pianist. How beautiful. And we all stand there and encourage and fan those hopes in our children. But somewhere between like 15 and 25, it's like, just get fucking real. Like, just go get a job like the rest of us. Be tax cattle. Give up on the dream and just settle for this. Settle for a job. Settle for a mortgage. And if there's one takeaway that you're going to get today, it's you cannot be that way and succeed. You're going to have to go back to what you know, build out the reason why, dream once again. It sounds fucking stupid. We're adults and we're having an adult conversation. I want you to be cognizant that this is how achievement works. You set a plan in motion. You start to now believe, you start to have faith in that, you start to make that stuff happen. And all of a sudden, you're being chaperoned around an $11 million vessel saying, the vendor wants to meet you, the vendor wants to meet you. This deal's going to work. If you had sat across the table from me and said, you'll be buying a new fucking EC-120 helicopter in November, I would have said, you're probably smoking crack. But to place the order and give them 50% deposit, that's a very real moment. It's funny. I caught myself 6 weeks ago walking down the stairs and yelling out to Dominic, my EA, my PA girl. And I said, make sure the machine's fueled. And I got in the car and I went, not many people actually say that. Make sure the machine's fueled. Like it's at the airports, at the hangar, make sure it's fueled. Yep, no worries at all. Got in the car and went, that's odd. What a conversation. What a strange sentence to give, to say. And it all comes as a result of this. If we can just harness this and take it seriously, my friend, this is fucking 30% of the mission done. But people just don't seem to care. It doesn't matter. And I'm saying to you, no, it's fucking everything. Because it now guides, where do we put these coordinates? Where do we steer the compass? Because if we're doing this, we're doing that. If we're going to be doing this, we're going to put in that direction. And if we're going to be doing something of that grand scale, we need to look over here. But people are just fucking lost and just keep walking around in circles in the dark. You were going to say?
Yeah, I mean, I love this book that you showed.
That's my heart and fucking soul right there. Like that's when I got divorced, I had an original of those from 30 years ago as a kid when I was dating a girl. When I got divorced, I thought my life's kind of stalled out. It's an idle. I need to go back to what I know. The original is falling apart, dude. The staples are rusty. The shit's falling out of it.
That's exactly why I bring it up, because it's like when we would dream when we were young. And the dreams would just get shut down.
Totally.
Whether it's from our family,
Yeah.
whether it's from our friends.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always seemed
Yep.
to be
Yep.
something pathetic.
Lofty and unrealistic.
Correct.
It's fucking out there in the ethos. So put your feet on terra firma. Get back to planet Earth.
Correct. And you're saying that is a complete growth stuff.
It's the worst thing. You know what? And it's harmful. I don't know the person that actually said that to each of us. I wasn't there in that moment. But fuck, it was never kind. Come back to here. Be like me. Be normal. Get a job. Just go sacrifice 50 hours a week. Be like us. Fucking lost in the dark like sheep. It was almost like a tall poppy moment. Get back to here where you belong. It was not good. It was not supporting. It was not an uplifting statement. But we all bought it. Yeah, because we want to be a part of the group. We want to be part of the clan. We don't want to stand out like a sore thumb. We don't want to be that person that's ridiculed. And I think that's what people are starting to recognise now. This is actually serious. This is a serious moment of what do I stand for? Will I adopt this? But more importantly, will I put effort towards it? Because if I put effort towards it, that's a commitment. And when I start to sort of spell out to the universe, this is going to fucking happen on my watch, whether you participate or not. I'm going to get this done. Watch me go. That's all I've ever done with goals. I mean, it's still to this day. I will never fucking relent on that boat. And when I get that, I'll be shopping for a new one because I know that just only carries me up. It only just pushes me in one direction. It'll be a 100-foot boat, but I reckon the next will be 126, 151. It has to be. If you stop, you start rotting. If you stop growing, you start dying.
I've got a question for you. Is there anybody on this planet that could come to you and say, Mark, if you buy that boat, you've lost me. I'm never talking to you again.
Right.
Is there anyone on this planet that come to you and say that, and you would say you would forfeit, you would fold?
No. Any woman, partner, wife? Fuck no. Because a purpose matters for a man. A purpose comes before anything. If a man has a purpose, he can actually do anything. But it takes a long while to make that mistake and realise it. Your children don't want to see a father without a purpose because then he just becomes despondent and lazy. He's got no direction. The purpose becomes before anything. Anything. If my new partner, wife, came to me and said, that boat is a deal breaker, terrific, look, I love you. And the mission continues. You might say, Jesus, that's so brash. That's such a nasty thing, a conniving thing to say. Not at all. Because I think that we all need a mission, and women included, man. Why is it that women have menopause? It's very simply put this way. Women only have menopause because the purpose of their life has grown up. The purpose of their life has moved out of home. And if women fucking got that, they would be so much happier. It's just chapter 2, 2.0. Who do I want to be? Don't be fucking angry with the world. Now, this is my opportunity. I've bought that portal of life into the world. What's next for me? Do I want to upskill? Do I want to go change something? Do I want to be a part of a movement? Do I want to be part of a philanthropic movement? That's their opportunity to shine. But most of them sort of turn inward and start blaming those around them.
Can you elaborate?
Only because they haven't got that northern star. They don't have a dream big enough to propel them. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I've come to know. You need a compelling future. Sickness. Tell me, why the fuck is it that someone can beat stage 4 cancer? I'm not dying. I've got too much to do. My daughter's netball coach has had cancer twice, stage 4. Full mastectomy, the whole shebang. And only just finished chemo 6-7 weeks ago. Train them kids all the way through chemo. Stay in bed, don't move, don't work. And she's out there volunteering to train the kids. Why? How'd she fucking beat cancer? She had a compelling future. These kids matter to me. She's a beautiful soul, straight up. But I think it sews into the idea of when I stand for something great, then my life has meaning and purpose. And that's what we all need to be encouraged. We need to start to realise, I've got to dig some roots and build some foundation. I'm going to finish this thing like a fucking gold medalist does. I'm just not going to float through life. So some people die of stage 4 cancer. This might be a sensitive topic, but I can tell you, you're far better off, you're far better likely to beat it with purpose in your soul.
Well, if you give up on anything, right? If you give up on anything, it's not going to move forward.
It's what?
It's not going to move forward. You know, so if you
Life is progress. Evolution is progress. And if we adopt that principle and put money in the equation, fuck, we can make incredible things happen financially. This is actually bringing the best of you out. It's forcing you to the front. You can't play small with money. That's also exciting. It's fucking shit scary too. Because that's where people step back from the flames. They're so fucking scared they might fail. I'd rather fail in a grand way than not ever attempt. I walk through the flames. Too many people stand at them. You walk through those fucking flames. There's nothing that can beat you. I know what I'm capable of. Does that make sense? I don't give a shit if the market melts down tomorrow. You and I are in such a robust position because we know how to do it now. Nothing will beat you. And it's like Pam with the bloody netball coaching. It's not going to beat me. I've got too much to do. You need a compelling future. Sit down, take a pen and ask yourself why. Why does this matter? Why do I want to be wealthy? Why do I need to be free? Why at this point in my life? Why will this support others? Why will this play into their mission? Why am I designed to be great? Why am I going to do this? Why am I going to get off my ass and make a change? Why do I want to be wealthy? Why is freedom so important to me? Why do I want to be debt-free? Why is it going to have 12 houses and investment portfolio? Why is it important that I pass on these skill sets to my children? Why does this matter for my family? Why does this matter for the generation? Why does it matter that the village wins? Why is it important that they see you as a lighthouse? Why does that matter? Fuck, the answers just keep coming. Take the time, capture them. Because all it does is build in purpose. And when shit does go wrong, and it should go wrong. You don't want an easy free kick to being rich. That's the worst thing. You want the struggle. You want the triumph. You want the challenge. You want the setback. You want the victory. It just builds the muscle.
There's going to be some people that do this.
Keep the questions coming, by the way, folks. Please, there should be a ton of questions starting to stream through here. It's very important. I think the topic is on. I mean, it's very clear, it's evident that we must have a compelling future.
There's going to be some people that take this homework and they take it into their office where they're alone and no one's around, and they're going to do this.
Yes.
But they're going to keep it a secret.
Sure.
Because they don't want anyone to see it. They don't want anyone to shut it down.
Of course. Can I share something with you?
Hide it from their wife. They're going to hide it from their husband.
Can I share something with you?
Please.
I think it's a great idea. If someone's going to be ridiculed and criticised and that makes them feel bad, it forces them to look inside and question. Don't fucking reveal. It's none of their business. You could be saying, well, Mark, I'm married. I tell my wife everything. What's the importance? If this is what you want, if this is the grand plan, you can walk and show her by example. You don't need her buy-in. That's not deceitful. Honey, I think I'm capable of more. Come with me. You're my wife. What's so wrong with that? But if they're going to be judged, well, fuck, keep it a secret. I kept that a secret for many years. People thought I was cracked when I started talking about I glue shit into a scrapbook. They're like, you a kid, you a child, you're a fucking grown adult. And I'd realised that I just sped forward. And that made so much sense to me. That was tangible now. This is what the next 40 years entails. This is not just some flash in the pan, let's see what happens. You can't go through life kicking tires. You need to attack it. And people sort of think that success is beyond them. You just got to be methodical about it. You just got to be deliberate about it, be measured about it. You have to be anal and stupid and fucking stingy. I don't get that. You can be lavish. You can be fun. You can be joyous, inspirational, and make a killing on the way through. People will just gravitate to you. But you need to have that compelling future. There's got to be a dot on the horizon because the storm's going to come, man. And when the wind swells, you don't know which is up from down. And there'll be challenges. There should be. There should be major challenges. They are going to come. But they'll just make you better. They'll just be the hallmarks of greatness. You'll look back and go, shit, I almost gave up. How about that? I remember that day. And this happened to me. I bought a shopping centre years ago. And don't do it this way. But I signed a contract for $16.82 million. And I had about 5.5 in the bank. And then something on one of my projects went horribly wrong. And I had to bail out about $2 million. Well, the deposit for the shopping centre's out the door, but it was unconditional at this point. Due diligence was finished. I'm supposed to settle in November. This is like late August. All bankers are going, no, unless you've got the cash, we're not going to contribute. I had to find the balance of $16 million in like 83 days. Guess what? I fucking sat here, sleepless nights. My wife thought I was nuts. You haven't been to bed for 2.5 days. Yeah, I know. I need to find at least half a dozen solutions to this because I'm not fucking leaving until it's done. She started bringing food up the first day and realised second day, fuck, I can't change his mind. He's just not moving. He's okay. That's just who he is. And people say you're lucky. You're not fucking lucky. I was absolutely clear why I was in the game. And I reckon that shopping centre was a strategic part of the end game. But if I fall over and I fail, that's not good. It's going to really set me back a few years. I'm going to lose a couple of $1 million in deposit. I've got to make this work. But I think that this was a very important part of that whole picture. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've kept it a secret and no one finds your scrapbook, then
hidden under the bed.
Exactly. And then you start, and then you go, yes, but I'm gonna do this anyway.
Yep.
And then you start to make changes. Then you start to
yep.
live differently.
Yeah.
At some point, someone close to you is going to notice.
Yeah.
Or someone is going to,
Yeah. Observe.
Observe.
Yeah. Get to the point. You say to me, oh, what? They're going to observe this change in you? What do you mean?
Yeah, they're going to observe this change, and they're going to have either a reaction.
Yes.
Or they're going to come on board with
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And
Before or against you, is what you're saying?
before or against you.
Yeah.
And I think the fear is that the block
Mm.
would be
Mm.
of why we sort of put our dreams aside.
Yes.
Is this moment
Sure. Of being judged.
being judged?
Judgment day.
Judgment day.
We're scared of losing what is.
Because it's going to come. Because we can't hide it. You can
Here's a
hide
great
it.
point. Here's a great point. It's a great point. I was only thinking this the other day. Grab a pen, jot this down. Often we give up things at idle for greater things ahead. And sometimes with friends, you have to give up what you know is good and righteous in order to move on and command something greater of yourself. That often happens with friends. And here's what I do know about money too. The smarts, the intelligence, the IQ that got you to here is not the IQ that's going to finish this fucking thing either. It all changes. And this is why you need to be a perpetual learner. Because if you think that education sort of stopped at year 12 or uni, fucking think again. Money is that game where I've constantly got to be learning. I just brought up 2 books this morning. My PA's got them delivered. Like I'm a hard kind of copy guy. But, you've just got to keep smashing books. You've just got to keep reading content. You've just got to be across it. You've got to be constantly learning. Otherwise, you're just not making any progress. You know what I mean? So, yes, you're going to be judged. You're going to be ridiculed. You're certainly going to be, you're going to be cut from circles. But I'd rather that than fall short of my aspirations. Make sense? We've got a couple of quick questions here. Hey, Mark. Love the content. How do we get more involved with you? Simple. We've got a More Than Money event coming on the 11th of November. Should you wish to participate, you can certainly come along. It's a digitally delivered event. It's not a live event. Sorry, it's not a in-house event. It'll be a live digital coming to your home. So you can now take that through, the means of the breakfast bar, the breakfast kitchen, the dinner table, even have your kids watch in if you so wish. I'm going to suggest that the things that you and I've covered in the last 5-6 sessions are going to be more thorough, more comprehensive. I would suggest you want to make sure that you are there. More Than Money is going to be a complete change of the way that you think about how do I get in the game to win. You know, here's what I understand and come to learn. Money is not just solely about strategy alone. If it was just about strategy, so many more people would be in the money. They would be wealthy, millionaires. But they're not. So it's not just about the strategy alone. Is it about Bitcoin, starting businesses, Mark? About, you know, trying to buy a business in order to sell it as an exit. And that's not always true. You don't necessarily have those skills. What I do know is that you and I need to be very, very clear about what it is that we're here for. Why am I in the game? Why? And that transition is like, well, what am I going to do? How do I get money? How do I progress this? How do I get involved? It's less than $500 for the entire day where you and I drill into the very pieces that have held you back. Why is it, Mark, that I'm 28 years old, barely making ends meet, haven't got a deposit for a home? Why is it I'm 44? 2 young kiddies, but I'm barely keeping my head above water. Between childcare fees, cars, groceries, rent, I'm never going to get ahead. I'm probably never going to own a home. You need to be there. Mark, I've looked at business before, or I've failed in business. I've really stuffed it up. I'm divorced. I'm starting from zero. I've got this as a debt. I've got 200 grand credit card debt. You want to make sure that you are on the map 11th of November. Talk to the team, get yourself in there. It's a digitally delivered piece. You don't have to go to Perth, you don't have to go to Sydney. But here's what I'd say to you, the people that don't need to be there. I'd say to you, don't come if you are lazy. Don't come if you don't see a future in money. Don't come if you're one of those people that's always questioning, second-guessing yourself. Don't come to More Than Money if you're a person that often, criticises or makes a mockery of other people that want more. If you're a jealous type, don't come either. But come if you are genuinely in pursuit. You want to understand how to decode the subject of money. How the fuck do I do this? There are millions of people that are smashing it. How do I join that club? How do I be a part of that mindset, that mind frame? And they're the kind of people that thrive and flourish in an environment like this. Hand on heart, I started with absolutely nothing and even got worse. I owed $431,000 when that was a lot of money. To be able to catapult forward and using these skills and now determining what I want and then using specific strategies to execute and bring that money back. That's a very important process that you need to understand. As recent as this morning, there was conversations on foot today, Zoom calls to Singapore about an entity, a large government body, an investment corporation of the government, Singaporean government, that wants to buy assets of mine in Australia. That's this morning, 9 a.m. sharp. My operations manager, we've got all the details sitting there. There's 7 of us online. That's a very interesting place to be from someone that left school at grade 10, 16. If I can, you can. The game of money is simple when you know how. So my suggestion is, this is your call to action. Find a way, put together, hey, listen, team, I need to be in that room. How do I make it happen? 11th of November. Any other questions you guys have got, by all means, feel free. Fire them through. I want to answer them in full. I do believe that this is of great value to you. And you can ask me anything. I don't give a shit if it's personal, whether it's this, it's about money, Mark, how did things fall apart in your marriage? What would you do, again, differently? I'm not precious. I'm certainly here to support you. And I want to see you do your very, very best in the world of commerce. Thank you so much for your time. I trust that you received value. Please do post your number one takeaway from today's training. Hey, listen, I learned this. I got that. I realised a compelling future. I haven't had that. Hence the reason I've probably been a bit lost for direction. Whatever that is, by all means, throw it up there. Your next training piece, we're going to be doing again on Thursday this coming week. It will be another event where we just keep bedding down the basics. You don't learn how to fly a helicopter in a day. It's about taking the fundamentals and building them fundamentals until they become second nature. Thursday will be the same. It'll be stacking together that wisdom. Don't forget our upcoming event, More Than Money, 11th of November. And my suggestion is, by all means, get behind the collective, play a part, ask the questions, expect the answers. And folks, this is your call to action. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to seeing your success up in lights and hearing about your triumphs, but also to the struggles along the way. Have a great afternoon. Mark Rolton signing off. Bye for now.